You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Andy podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 164. Today is July 25th, 2026. Today's guest, he likes to be called Korps. We're going to go with that. So before we get into the episode, again, you guys know what I gotta do. I gotta do it. The hotline, 818-806-8595. Give it a call. Send a text, leave a voice message. If you don't want to give out your number. If you don't want me to have access to your number, you can always leave a voice message by *67 and then a phone number. You guys can easily try it with a friend, try it with your parents, *67 and call them, and you'll see that the number will come up anonymous or unknown or whatever. So shoot it a call. Leave a voice message. Like I said, if your voice message is, I can plug it into a future episode with the question, whatever it is you're trying to say. And then, so let's go to my socials. It's Instagram, Ride With Me Podcast, TikTok, YouTube, and Rumble, FTA_podcast. I am on Patreon, Flat Tire Andy Podcast, and then Venmo, if you guys want to donate. Venmo is FTA Podcast, no underscore. You can also listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Alexa, YouTube. You can rate on Spotify. You can review on Apple Podcasts. Now on Spotify, you can comment. So you guys can have a full-on conversation about the episode. And then don't forget to follow and share. Again, everything is through Spotify. So whatever you do on Spotify is what counts. So if you don't have Spotify, download it, go follow, and then you can delete it. That's on you. It's probably something Spotify doesn't want to hear, but hey, man, I'm not going to force you to follow. So listen to an app you don't want to. And then really quick, sponsor. Big shout out to SolarX Insurance. They offer fast, friendly, and affordable coverage. Whether you ride a motorcycle or need an SR22, SolarX can help. Don't let insurance stress slow you down. Call 877-736-4719. That's 877-736-4719. Or you can also check them out at www.slxinsurance.com. That's slxinsurance.com. And let SolarX help you get back on the road. Hit them up. Today's quick intro. It's too much. It's too much. I think my last intro was too long. Sorry, Umberto. Anyways, so I bring on my friend here, Korps. He himself has a podcast, The Smoking Section. Go check him out. We have, I think at one point we followed each other on Instagram. So I posted on my notes, hey, looking for guests, who's down? He reached out. So he was on the podcast. So I think we first start off by talking about like our hometown, because we're both from the same city, and so same neighborhoods and areas and schools and stuff like that. So we touch up on that a little bit, and it was fun having someone from my hometown on the podcast that knows the shit the street names and stuff like that. So we just BS for a little bit about our hometown of Oxnard, Port Hueneme and stuff like that. And then, but when we do get into the conversation, he does start talking about, what it was like living under the roof of a toxic parent. His dad was pretty much verbally abusive. Those old school parents. This guy was, I think his dad, he said his dad was born like in 1940 something. So yeah, he's definitely freaking old school. And, a lot of what they didn't see as verbal abuse was definitely fucking verbal abuse. But, so he touches up on that a little bit. And then, I think he's the youngest. He said he was the youngest of 8. So we kind of connected on that, because sadly, but I'm one of the oldest of 12. So, we touched about that a little bit. And then he did touch on a little bit of being sexually assaulted by a family friend. Isn't that who always the fucking, who's always the, what do you call it? The asshole is always a family friend that does something stupid like that. Couldn't think of the term you call pedophile. There we go. Pedophile. Probably trigger warning, guys. Sorry. And, it's always a fucking family friend. And then they gain your trust. They fucking pretty much give you the world, and then they do something stupid to you. He touched on his parents divorcing, I believe, in the 2nd grade, and then pretty much moving across the U.S., leaving childhood home behind. So, he did talk about what it was like living in, I believe he said, North Dakota. Sorry, I do the promo part like a day or two later, so sorry guys. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Korps. I keep saying Korps because that's what he told me to say. His name is Korps. And I was struggling with his name, so I just kept on saying Korps. Obviously, Korps. It's like a dead body corpse, so that's what he likes to go by. But yeah, if you guys go check out the smoking section of that's his podcast, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And there you go, Humberto. I kept it short. I hope talk to you guys later.
Need auto insurance or an SR22? Like now, SolarX Insurance gets you covered fast. No license, no problem. We speak your language, shop the best rates, and get you back on the road today. Call 877-736-4719. That's 877-736-4719. Visit slxinsurance.com or call now 877-736-4719. Quick, easy, done. SolarX Insurance. Drive with confidence.
Good evening, Korps. I gotta get used to saying that, bro. Korps. All right, we're live, bro. We're recording.
Oh yeah, dude. That name, I know. Every time I give it out to people, they're like, "Wait, what is it again?" It's Korps. Like, yeah, it's definitely it brings a little bit of shock value, so it helps the name stick a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I met again, guys. I always let you guys know where I meet my guests. Korps. I met him through Instagram. I started following a bunch of random podcasters and other pages on the podcast page, and he took the invitation one evening to say, "Hey, I'm down to do it." So here he is. Beautiful thing about this guy is he's from my hometown of the beautiful city of Oxnard.
Yeah, it's 805, baby.
Dude, that's the one thing I never did was moving out here was change my phone number because I wanted to keep the 805.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's dope, dude.
I kept my 805 number, and then like every time when we go visit and we hit the Cornejo grade and you can see all of like Ventura County and everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm home, and my wife looks at me like, no, that's not your home anymore. But yeah, you're from dude. Talk to me about the weather. How chill is it in Oxnard right now?
You know what? We have actually been having some pretty hot ones here recently. It climbed up into the 90s today. But for myself, that is like just perfect because we're right beside the water. It's, that's a beach day with no wetsuit. That's a beach day where you go out and you can't wait to hit the water.
So educate my listeners. This is because the one thing I brag about Oxnard is the weather, because it's like down the street from the beach. If you can recall, how often does Oxnard ever see 90s?
Oh man. I think the last time I've seen it like this hot was probably in like 2016. I think it hit like 97. And I know in one of the newer establishments out here, the collection like shopping area, I mean, I remember watching people walking through and they were like trying to hide in the little slivers of shade. And, I remember that was like the first couple times I heard of people having a heat stroke in Oxnard. Like, wait, what? I grew up a part of life in North Carolina, so the heat isn't like foreign to me. But for here, it was just like bonkers, bro. Upper 80s is about usually as hot. Like, that's a hot one, and you might get that once or twice in a summer. But we've had a couple 90s here recently.
Bro, the last time we went to Oxnard, it was 77 in Oxnard. My boys are walking around in a freaking hoodie. And everyone that is from Oxnard, is sweating bullets, bro. And my boys are like, this is fucking cold. This is cold. Because now they're used to the weather out here in La Puente. Like right now, I think it's 100. So it's hot. Oh. Yeah, it's hot. I don't record podcast. I don't do video podcasts, but you never see me. If I was recording podcasts and video, you would notice see me wearing a fucking tank top, bro. I look like a hooligan right now.
Yeah, the last couple podcasts I did with my buddies, I just went full shirtless.
Yeah.
I went full shirtless. My girlfriend's gotten real mad at me. She's like, you gotta stop recording with it on, because we do video, right? Like video lives. You gotta stop recording that way. It's like, listen, honey, I'm sweating from areas I didn't know existed, and I gotta do something about this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it.
So educate me on your podcast. What's your podcast about?
So the podcast is called The Smoking Section. And it started off as a podcast that was literally just me speaking into the void, right? I'd spark up and just start ranting about a topic I had on my brain. Its true beginning started off on like little Instagram videos when like stories first dropped. And I did a series called Friday's Food for Thought, and I would take questions from people like, hey, what's a topic that you're curious about or something that you'd like to hear me talk about? But those videos were so short. So then I finally found a platform to where I could do longer videos and longer recordings, and moved into that route. Started off, just as me ranting, and then COVID happened. There was some stuff that happened there, especially during the lockdowns, and it became a men's mental health check. And I was calling all my buddies and just checking in on them. Fortunately enough for me, all my friends are some kind of creatives. So, it starts off like, hey, what do you do? Oh, they b-boy, oh, they tag, oh, they're rappers, they're dancers, or whatever. And then it was, well, how are you doing though? Like, during this time? Because it was, we all went through COVID. It was the weirdest time, I think, in human history that has ever been recorded, right? Like, we're all locked in houses. We don't know when we're going to get out. It's not just happening in America. It's happening across the globe. And I think a lot of people kind of got a little weird during that time, and they got into some weird stuff, and it was cool. And, one of my buddies tragically decided to take his own life, and that's kind of what really inspired that mental health check-in.
Yeah.
And I think especially for us men, because I definitely identify as a man, I think that conversation has became more prevalent, more talked about, a little more out in the open, and a lot of people are getting more, not only more educated on it, but they're just a little more open to sharing their own experiences. So I really grabbed that one by the horns and ran with it.
That's pretty much what happened here with the podcast. Freaking, I started in COVID, literally what? We got shut down when? In April or March?
Yeah, like March.
And then literally dude, it just happened that way. My first episode dropped on 420. So it just happened that way. And, like I said, I've been doing it ever since. Not as consistent as other podcasters do, because I know my listeners get tired of me saying it. This is just a hobby. And, we started it, like I said, just having a guest come on and just pretty much compare stories and share stories about things that have happened to us. And there's a couple episodes that have gone on rants. The last 2 rants, they're like, my brother told me those are not rants, bro. That wasn't a rant, bro. that was too chill to be a rant. But that's pretty much how it started. And because of the stories that I've shared to an uncle of mine, he was like, dude, you should start a podcast. And I sat on the idea for 4 months, and pretty much COVID hit us, and now we're at home doing nothing. So it's like, fuck it, I guess I'm gonna pick up another hobby then. And so
yeah, man, I really want to give you some flowers too. I've had the opportunity to really start thumbing through all the different episodes you've done, man, and you giving people the last pod you did. I listened to it, matter of fact, yesterday, and or was it today? Yesterday. And and I was like, whoa, like the young lady's story was so powerful. And I mean, also a Southern accent is great for me. But it was just like, whoa, like it was just a really deep, compelling story and very honest and transparent. And I was like, man, he really has this space where people can come and, you know, I think it's became kind of cliche, the whole, you know, speak your truth, but like really bring their truth to power and to light. And yeah, so I definitely wanted to make sure I gave you your flowers on that.
Thank you, bro.
It's a dope podcast, bro.
Thank you, man. I mean, like I said in that last episode, I'm not a professional. I make mistakes. I am taking notes when I should be listening to my guests, but I'm a one-man army. And, so you know, that's why the more notes you give me, you know, I got to a point where I was asking ChatGPT for help. And honestly, those conversations didn't even sound, what's it called? Genuine? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Did I use the right word? They didn't sound real, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was even told, now you need to go back to basics and make it sound more of a conversation instead of an interview. And so now it's like, okay, then my guest wants to come on. They want to share their story. They need to give me as much as possible so that I can, in notes wise, so I can be able to make it sound as much of a normal conversation as possible. Again, I go based on to future guests or people that want to be a guest. I go based on what you tell me. So I'm pretty much looking at his notes, and when we're ready to go, we'll start talking about his story and probably make him cry based on this stuff. I don't know, man. Just kidding.
I am a crier. So pardon me, please.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Again, I'm tough to getting used to your name, bro. Korps. Again, met him through Instagram. I put on my notes, hey, who wants to be a guest? He took the invite, and besides knowing that he's from my hometown, how was what part of let's see here, what part of the area of town did you grow up in?
I grew up on the south end of Oxnard. Yeah, big bad south side.
What do you mean, high school area?
Yeah. So anybody who ventures out into the Oxnard area, you exit the 101, you head down Ventura Road, you cross over Channel Islands, and there's a small little pocket area in between. It crosses over from Oxnard and Port Hueneme. So my address was officially Port Hueneme, but if I crossed the street, I was in Oxnard.
Yeah.
And so I was right there. Grew up off of J Street in Yucca.
No shit, me too. I lived around there too at one point.
Yeah, off of Kern Street, man. Loved that neighborhood. It will always have a special place in my heart. My older siblings, a good chunk of my older siblings, all graduated from Hueneme High. I graduated CI, Channel Islands High School.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Go Raiders. But yeah, man, I was just, my dad was like, yeah, you got too many friends that go there and you need to focus in school, so we're going to send you to CI. And so yeah, I grew up down there. I would walk to Wiener Schnitzel all the time and get the 2 corn dog special, you know, with a root beer, and walk home. And by the time I'm home, I'm already full. And yeah, bike ride from the beach.
The last time that we were in Oxnard, we were around the corner from that Wiener Schnitzel. We went to a birthday. My tia's, she was turning 99 that year, and we went to she went to Sally. She passed away 6 months later, but she was so happy to see us because she hadn't seen us in years, and it was around the corner from that Wiener Schnitzel, down that block. Yeah, dude, Oxnard is we grew up and we lived everywhere, man. At one point, dude, I went to almost every single elementary school in Oxnard. I even went to. Have you ever heard of Laguna Vista Elementary School?
Laguna Vista. That does sound familiar.
That was out in the boonies over there by like the Point Mugu Air Base. That's way out there, bro, like in the boonies.
Yeah.
Surrounded by fields and stuff. But we went to every single school, and then once I hit high school, I told my mom, that's it, dude. You got to keep me at one school because this is bullshit. I went to Fremont. I went to Frank. I went to, like I said, almost every elementary school in Oxnard. And then so once I hit Hueneme High School, I was like, that's it. Leave me here. So at one point we lived by the Point Magoo Air Base, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. You're driving me to school all the way to Winnie. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Damn, that's a mob.
It was a drive. It was a drive. And then, but yeah, no, freaking Yucca and J Street. We lived there at one point. We lived most of our lives. We did live in La Colonia.
Oh yeah.
You don't look like a person that would enter La Colonia.
yeah. That's my buddies from out of town who ever came here to visit me, and we passed by that neighborhood. I'm like, that's the jungle. That's the jungle, man. Like, we could cruise through there, and even when I cruise through, I make sure that I stop just enough at the stop sign, but I got to keep it pushing, bro. I can't be caught out here in the neighborhood.
People that don't know Oxnard that well, they're like, wait, Oxnard is so beautiful. What are you talking about? You mean the collection is beautiful? Get off on Oxnard Boulevard, make a left, drive about 5-10 minutes, and you're going to get to the jungle. And you're not going to say Oxnard is beautiful anymore. You probably
matter of fact, I was just over there for work, man, and I was on Garfield off of Colonia Road on Garfield, and I walked down to the Colonia Market that's right there, to the little bakery, and I was eating me a concha, and I was like, man, like 15 years ago, you would not have caught me dead out here like this. Like, I feel so exposed. Oh no. But there's just something about that neighborhood where, like, the concrete smells alive. Like the wall right here just seems like it's it feels like it's looking at me, bro. Like, there's just, that neighborhood has got so much history.
Dude,
so much history.
Dude, that freaking store you're talking about right now, my mom used to send me to that store when I was 5 years old to grab the wick. Dude, that store you're talking about. Yup. Mm-hmm. She was sending me to that store at 5 years old. And back then, bro, they didn't give a shit, bro. They fucking, because they're going to get paid. So the checks were already signed. I went in. Dude, I crossed the street. I mean, we live literally across the street. So it's like she can see me. But back then, she didn't have to fucking look, like, keep an eye on me or freaking follow me with a drone. None of that shit, dude. Yeah. And they would give me the week, like, a gallon of milk, little gallon of milk, boo, boo. Like, independent at 5 years old, bro, with the gallons of milk. Hey, I always came back with the milk. Yeah. But yeah, no, I grew up in all that neighborhood, all that area. I lived on McKinley at one point. I lived on, Garfield at one point. On Cooper and Garfield, actually, there's a little restaurant. I don't know if it's still there, but La Paloma restaurant. And we grew up in that house next to it. Big, long property, and just a house in the back. And then, I know I've said it before already. Sorry, listeners, but he doesn't know. There's a Cesar Chavez statue at the Cesar Chavez Elementary. And in the 6th grade, my handprint is on there. Whoa. So freaking the 6th grade class put their handprints around it, that when the whole Cesar Chavez BS started coming up with the whole cancel Chavez, I reached out because I still have my 6th grade teacher on Instagram and Facebook. Whoa. I found her a couple years ago. I'm like, hey, you know what? When I think of teachers, you're the one that comes to mind. And she was all like honored by that. So I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, if you guys are gonna tear down that statue, can you guys save the hands? Like, that's our history. That's not Chavez's history. Those are our hands. Those are our history. And she right away, she emailed the principal and she's like, hey, I told her, I don't want to go pick up my hand. At least put the hands somewhere on the school, because they're the school. That's our history. And I haven't heard nothing of it. I haven't even heard of the statue being removed or anything. So, dude, my kids are like, Dad, let's just go in the middle of the night and just fucking steal them. I mean, you know what, kid? That sounds like a good idea. I can easily say, hey, this is mine. So, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I grew up all over in the hood, bro. And it actually, because I grew up in the hood, it actually saved me from getting my ass kicked in jail. But that's a conversation for another day. Oh man, but yeah, no, Oxnard is, it's beautiful weather-wise, and yes, they're expanding. There's a brand new high school on Camino del Sol, and Rose Avenue.
Yep.
They are developing. Oxnard is becoming 100% more popular, more like fancier and everything. But at the end of the day, it's still fucking the ghetto, man. Don't give me that shit.
You could take, what is it? You could take the kid out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the kid. And there's so many people that I still know to this day, you know, they went off and did big things and went to big schools and had the big kid jobs. And then now they're back in Oxnard. And it's like, hey man, like we love it here, you know? And, I've had the pleasure of traveling all over the country and moving to different places and found my way back to the Great 05, you know, and there's, as much as they want to develop it, I think that there's just something baked into the fabric of the city that makes it just be that way. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I love my city, man. I love
Dude,
it.
I remember when the Dallas Cowboys freaking practice on dirt. Have you seen all that new development, all those new houses and stuff?
Yeah.
That's all them, bro. That's the money that they bring.
Yeah. They just finished setting up all the spring training camp stuff now too, and like, what was it? Yeah, I think it was 2014-ish status. The collection was like starting to thrive, and I remember peeking my head out, and then there was Dallas Cowboys players walking right here by the restaurant in the southwestern area of town over by the marina where like the Sea Bridge kind of nice area is now. And I was like, oh, like they're coming out to play. They're not driving to Thousand Oaks or Calabasas. Like they're hanging out in the city. Like this is different. Like it's starting to change.
Yeah.
So, man, they bring in they tip well. They do tip very well. So, yeah, they bring a lot.
There was an article on the Cowboys, their 20th year coming to Oxnard. They're like, dude, guys, get your math correct. The first time they were in Oxnard was 2001. That makes it 25 years, not 20. So I was like correcting freaking Channel 7 news and shit. Fuck you, dude. I was being a keyword warrior. Fuck you guys. It was 25 years, motherfuckers. I was there for the very first one, damn it. Sadly, yeah, I'm a Cowboy fan. So, not because of Oxnard, though, but yeah. Yeah. So, I guess let's get to know you, man. We've been just rambling. It's not every day I have a local boy on my podcast. I mean, I have had people from Oxnard before, but it's not every day that I have one. It's just like, shit, we can be, look at that. Tahuerito, ojos y color. We can be related, bro.
Sure.
But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. You said growing up with your parents, man. How was that like, bro?
The family dynamic that we have, and especially, you know, as the story trickles down, it's real crazy. So, mom and dad met in my mom's hometown of Pembroke, North Carolina. My dad is a Native American advocate. We are a Native American family, and met my mom. He was there actually trying to get my mom's tribe federally recognized. They fall in love. They move to California. They end up moving to Virginia. And then that is when on some very cold February night, they decided to conceive their last child. And that's when 9 months later, I was born in Fairfax, Virginia. Shortly after that, we all moved back to California where my dad finally kind of took root with everybody. I'm one of 8 children.
Damn.
Yeah, big family. I'm a big family boy.
Dude, my mom had 12 of us, bro.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that in the other podcasts. It's like, good God, I have 5 kids. I don't know how my parents did it. And then when I heard you say one of 12 on your podcast, I was like, holy smokes, bro, that is insane.
Yeah, dude, imagine growing up. I always said I don't want any kids. I didn't want kids. I don't want kids. I don't want kids. I got blessed with 3.
Beautiful. Dude, same thing, right? I tell a lot of my friends, you know, I get the compliments of like, oh, you're a good dad, or oh, I see you with your kid, and you know what's it like being a dad? It's like, bro, if you would have asked me the day before I found out about him, I would have told you, no, a kid would ruin my life. I have all these plans and all these goals, and want to do all this cool stuff and travel. Like, I barely wash my own clothes. Like, what do you mean take care of a kid? But,
you know
yeah,
what?
no,
You know what, bro? About the traveling and stuff like that. We just recently kind of started doing that. My wife and I, like for the first time, I took her to Vegas. You know what I mean? And that was something simple. I took the boys to we went as a family to the Horseshoe Bend in Page, Arizona. It's like part of the river that comes out of the Grand Canyon and makes like like a horseshoe. And we just started doing that now. And then, like, dude, I'm a hardcore Dallas Cowboy fan. I don't know if you can see all this stuff behind me, but, dude, I've never been to the Cowboy Stadium. So as now that the kids are older, the way I say it is now they can wipe their own ass. So now the wife and I are doing like we're baby steps. First we went to Vegas and then Page, Arizona, and then, you know, stuff like that. We'll start hitting the bucket list. Our bucket list is simple. People that have a bucket list are Rome and this and that. I just want to go to the Cowboy Stadium, man.
Yeah, keep it, man. A simple man with simple pleasures.
Exactly.
That's the way I'm trying to keep it myself. Yeah, no. So growing up, it was big family. I'm the baby boy. My dad growing up, you know, me and you even kind of talked about this a little bit too. I feel like through all the stuff you kind of go through, memories become real spotty and real like you kind of have to walk through it sometimes with somebody, you know, who was even there just to kind of get triggered of like, oh yeah, I do remember that. Like, oh yeah, that happened. I don't remember much of my dad for like most of my younger years because he was traveling so much for work. And my mom did the best she could with us. You know, the inmates were running the asylum. But one thing definitely about my dad was, we say hi when he walks in the door. We sit down and, you know, we ask to be excused from the table. You don't leave the table until you finish your food. And when he's in one room, we're in the other room. And when he's on the phone, we're outside. Cause it was likely unfortunately one of the many traits of his that I picked up was he just has an explosive temper. And the smallest things would set him off. And so we knew to always make ourselves very scarce around him. So that was like one thing definitely, you know, to kind of answer that question of like, what was it like growing up with them was, you know, mom was trying her best to wrangle us and my dad he was a loose cannon at any moment. And so, kind of an odd dynamic, but there was a lot of outside time and getting into shit outside, you know, with my pack of siblings. So.
Right. And how much apart are you from your oldest? Your oldest, yeah.
So my oldest sister, Andrea, actually passed away when she was 3.
Ouch.
And she would have been. Pop had her my dad was born in 1947, and if I remember right, Andrea was born in 1960. So quite literally, she's 32 years older than me.
Oh wow.
So some of my oldest siblings are quite literally old enough to be my own parents.
I was like, dude, you don't look that old to be born in the 70s, bro. Shit. But when you're saying 32 years apart, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so another little dynamic of our family was that we all have separate parents, almost. You know, there's a litter of us from these parents, there's a litter of us from these parents, there's a litter of us from them. My dad had dated and married his high school sweetheart, and coming out of high school, they had her, and that was his everything. Like, there's super old, Wainimi High, or not Wainimi High, but Wainimi newspaper, or I think it was the Wainimi Star before it was the Ventura Star. but there's like old newspaper clippings of her being the youngest cheerleader at Wainini High ever. My uncle Dan, my dad's older brother, was of the first graduating class of Wainini High.
Oh, wow.
So quite literally, like my family here in Oxnard are quite literally like OGs of the city. Yeah, so big gap. My next oldest sister from that, she's 4 years younger than her. 14 years younger than her. And then it kind of just trickles down about 4 to 5 years between each kid. And then me and the baby girl, my older sister, she's 3 years apart from me. No, 2 years apart from me. Yeah.
I believe I'm
2 years and 10 months.
I believe I'm 21 years older than the baby of the family, the youngest one. I think 21 years old. Yeah, so and it's just she had a lot. She had like pretty much at one point almost every year, boom, 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 boom. Like no mames, no mames.
What do they call them? Irish twins, where
Bro.
it's almost a year apart.
Yeah, right. I changed diapers from like 1988 all the way to like freaking when's the last time my kid needed a diaper? Dude, I freaking one day my daughter, she changed my godson's diaper and I lost my shit. Dude, I lost my shit. Like it fucking just a fucking trigger. And I freaking went off and I was like, my daughter's like so scared and shit. Cause she's like, Dad, I'm the one that chose to change his diaper. I don't give a shit if you chose or didn't choose. Do not ever make my kid change this diaper. And they're like, oh, like my comadre was like, okay, I'm sorry. Cause yeah, no, that was a trigger for me. Dude, I changed diapers, like I said, from 1988 all the way until my kids were out of diapers in 09, 010, so 2010, maybe late 2010. That's a long time changing fucking diapers, bro.
That's a long time.
Dude, I see a baby in a diaper and I start fucking flinching. Diaper aisle. Yeah, it's like a war zone to the diaper aisle, bro. I fucking panic.
Yeah, my oldest nephew is 31. I'm about to be 32. I'm about to be 34. Him and his siblings all lived everywhere between San Diego up to Bellevue, Washington. And then I had two nieces who were born and lived close to us. Of those two, the oldest, I'm 7 years older than her. Yeah, and that's when I had the first experience of changing a diaper. And so it was like quite literally like we all raised each other, and everywhere from the siblings raising each other to baby brother is taking and wiping the bottoms of my nieces who are literally only a few years younger than me. They still call me uncle.
Right.
But yeah, so odd. It was a really, I mean, like so many people can relate to like having just odd upbringings, especially everywhere from like 95 down, like just odd, different era of life.
Honestly, bro, are you sure you guys are Mexican? Cause that sounds like a Mexican family, bro. Man, you guys are the stereotypical Mexican family, bro. Yeah. Where somebody your own age is calling you uncle.
Yeah, right. I get that a lot.
That's crazy. But like your first sentence, your first bullet point says Ruth was of a toxic parent. Did your dad get worse? Was he worse than just the whole I'm on the phone, you guys are outside, or?
There was a lot of moments with, thankfully, my dad never really had to put hands on me. Now, I got it when I got it. Unfortunately, though, I witnessed it a lot with my brother. I have one older brother, and he got it bad.
There's always one fucking punching bag, bro.
There's always a punching bag. Now, and I used to not quite believe in it until I had to start relearning some stuff in my life, was the things he would say was like, whoa, you don't say that to a kid. You don't say that to your wife. You don't say that in aisle 8 at fucking Albertsons, bro. Like, you don't sit there and say you're stupid this and, I don't even really like repeat it sometimes, man, because it was like he would say this, he's saying this to my kid niece and to me, like at the schoolhouse, bro. And what was so weird was like he would literally have these explosions and 2 seconds later look at us and like just with a blank face, like as if nothing had happened. Like, okay, so we're going to go inside now. It's like, okay, like, everything from you guys are worthless. You guys are, God, I wish this would have just happened to you guys instead. I look back and I realize, losing my sister took a toll on him in a certain way. And I just feel like he never really recouped from that. And thankfully, like just truly thankfully, because I've looked out into the world and even listening to your podcast, like thankfully my dad never had to put hands on me that way. But I definitely was treated like a punching bag in other ways. Yeah. And the arguments between him and my mom, kind of shaped to later on, like the way that I looked at relationships with women, like, cause the stuff he would say to her, like, stupid bitch this and motherfucker that and you're just this and it's like, whoa. I know a lot of kids who've dealt with that knows that feeling of like, I need to hide. Like, this is happening over here and I need to hide. And I remember there was one moment they were arguing and it was right, later on they ended up getting divorced, but it was right before that, my mom like banged the table back at him. And I could still remember that cold in his voice when he goes, "Don't you ever hit something in front of me." And I remember being like, there was this little wall in our kitchen and I was kind of hiding behind it already. And that's when I knew, like, it's time to go. Like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like that drop from screaming at each other to like almost a whisper was like, it still puts chills on me when I think about it today, because I was like sinister, I think is the only word I could think of to use to describe that. It was a sinister feeling, a really sinister tone of voice that, I don't know what points they reached after that, but I remember I ran into the room and my brother turned on the TV and turned it up. He's like, "Just watch the show, dude." He's like, "This'll end later."
Yeah. That sucks, man. I can see just the pain in your face as you're saying this. And again, I'm going to remind you, these are your bullet points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I try my best to throw in some jokes here and there, buddy. So, get you back up. I don't want to make you cry. But yeah, no. You know what? My kids can sometimes start insulting each other, and I just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna let it ride. All right, cool. But the moment they say stupid, I lose my shit. Okay. Yeah. What? You didn't say nothing to him when he called me a fucker? Are you a fucker? Well, no. Okay. But the word fucking stupid? Oh, I lose my shit. That because of the verbal abuse that I went through as a kid. And do I feel I'm stupid? No, I don't think so. So that word to me just like it really like rages me, man. I'm fucking get pissed. Anyways, so obviously your dad was very verbal abusive towards you, and even kids that weren't even his. Yeah. What a douchebag. And but how was your mom? Was your mom more chill, or was it just your dad?
Ma, for me at least right now, as me and all my siblings have gotten older, I've kind of realized some stuff that my mom was doing behind the scenes, right? And this, I guess, is a perfect transition. One of my dad's traits was you have to have this unbending, unyielding, and unquestioning loyalty to him. And if you stray from that, good riddance. And matter of fact, when my sister was pregnant, he tried to force her to have an abortion, and she was just like, no way. And my niece was born, with 10 fingers and 10 toes and a big smile. And she came home, and then one day I realized she wasn't home, and she had to leave. And come to find out, later, instead of my mom pushing back on it more, and I haven't had much of a chance to talk with her as much about it, to us, and for me and my siblings now, we kind of look at it like, why wouldn't mom have put up more of a fight on that? Or, my same sister, never had a chance to meet her dad, and refuses to talk to any of us about it. Will not answer questions about it. Will not go into discussion about it. I have another brother and another sister from her with a separate man. She had 3 marriages and had kids with all 3 men. That middle marriage, she never talked to me about that man, refused to tell me his name, even though I did end up meeting him one day on my own, but just wouldn't, just kind of hoarded that information from us and kept it all very secret. So even as kids, when I look back now, it's like I realized, like, oh, Ma, you lied about that. You hid this from us. And I have a thing of half truths, right? Especially with parents. And I notice the detriment that it takes on people these days. And even cause dude, I got to listen to so many different parts of your podcast, bro. I'd go to all these different ones, go to the middle just to hear, where are we? Let me hear this, and then I'll skip to another one and just keep going through.
That explains all the number jumps lately. Woo! Thank you.
Yeah, I realize that half truths are detrimental to children, especially if they realize it. Yeah, Ma, you told me the truth about this, but you lied about this part, or you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me the back end of this story, and now I know. And now I look at you a certain way, you're not telling me everything.
Yeah.
But between the two, she was definitely she wasn't a verbally abusive or physically abusive force in our family, but she was abusive in the way in which she didn't protect us in certain aspects, but then tried to protect us by hiding certain things. But with 7 kids running around the house, they're going to see, or they're going to hear, and they're going to tell the next sibling, who's going to tell the next 2 siblings, who comes and tells me, Yeah, that was, if I would ever say, if I ever had to really put my thumb down on, what was the most abusive aspect of my mother, it would have to be that,
keeping shit from you.
Yeah. And not truly giving the true revelations to all the children. My dad was really the wrecking ball. If I really, and I love my dad, he passed in 2016, and I tell everybody, I don't like talking about dead people. And it's gotten so easy for me to even say those words now behind the words my dad.
Bro, trust me, I struggle saying mom. Like my mom, I shouldn't even be calling her mom. I should say mother. But it's a habit, but yeah.
Yeah, I looked up to the man. I thought he was the strongest person, and could command a room and all the good things that I feel like strong men do, but was not, looking back and really having the chance over the years to look back at it and not be in pain about it as much as a father, there was just something wasn't linking properly, just didn't click for him, especially with the communicating. And, of course, with my brother, it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, man. What do you call it? Freaking oh well, it's no secret. I never knew my father, so I don't know what you went through. So yeah, no, yeah, I freaking, like I said, dude, I myself struggle, like, you know, talking, like my mother's not dead yet, but it's like at first I kind of like sharing some stories, and then just little by little, the more and more I'm telling myself, and the more and more I'm hearing, and the more and more it's like I start to develop more and more hatred. So now it's a lot easier to fucking do it. But bro, even at 44, I'm finding out fucking bullshit that she kept from me and shit. You know, like, you know, as an adult, I found out that my last name wasn't even my last name. You know, that the father that I thought I was gonna go look for. Yeah, he's shocked. Yeah, my listeners have already heard this. You haven't. So, yeah, dude. I think I was 23 years old. I told my grandma I'm gonna start looking for my dad, and she's like, hold off. And I'm like, hold off? Well, why would you want me to hold off? She sends me a freaking court documents in the mail, and it says, as for child minor Andres Martinez, his biological father is this guy named Francisco Medina. So there's fucking DNA tests. So you're telling me that it took 23 years for me to realize that my dad is not my dad. Interesting. Okay, cool. So then I start thinking about it. Okay, well, you know what? From what I'm hearing is this guy who wasn't my dad wanted me in his life. So why don't I start looking for him instead, right? Right? Sounds easy, right?
Right.
September of 2025, I find out that man didn't even want me to have his fucking last name. I'm like, oh, que la chingada. It's like, are you fucking serious? The fuck? Yeah, dude, yeah. The lady from the courthouse felt so bad reading these documents. She should have charged me like $20. She said, you can have them on the house. Because she saw the look in my, dude, she saw the look in my face as she's reading these paperwork, because she wants to make sure that she's giving me the right paperwork. And I'm like, yeah, that's not my fucking bullshit of a life. Yeah. Dude, my son was standing next to me as she's reading this shit. My son felt fucking horrible for me. So, yeah. Yeah, no, man.
Yeah, there's still stuff, even with my mom, that we're still realizing to today. And with my dad, matter of fact, his best friend from like the high school era, has been in contact and been like texting me, and he'll call me from time to time. And there's stuff like full blown skeletons falling out of these closets. Yep. And matter of fact, kind of how I came across the name Korps was like, I don't want to be a skeleton in the closet. I don't want to live that type of life. Like, I know I'm a mess up, and I have messed up. But I try to keep it a buck. And even with my kids, you know, like, they'll ask, like, oh, Dad, have you done this? Or, oh, Dad, have you ever seen this? And, oh, Dad, did you ever do that? Like, yeah, I have. Or, oh, yeah, been there. Oh, yeah, I did that before. And, I always see that little look of, like, shock on their face. And, I always have to remind them, like, hey, you know, Dad's lived a life, like a full life, and, you know, by grace alone, you know, I'm here now. Like, by grace alone, I'm here now, and, you know, I've been able to apologize for things and correct it and improve and move forward with it. You know, I think that was a thing, especially looking back at my pops and my mom, was all we ever kind of were really looking for. You know, just a straight answer and a straight apology, and we can keep it pushing, you know?
Dude, my sister told my mom. My sister told my mother. Because my sister started talking to her, and my sister's like, okay, you want me to be cool with you again? All right. Apologize to Andy. That was like 3 years ago, bro. When my sister told her that. And, yeah, I haven't got that apology, bro. Let me see. Yeah, my watch died, bro, and I'm not even wearing a watch. So, yeah, man. So, shit happens, bro. Shit happens. The next bullet point, I've been trying to avoid it, but I guess I have to ask it, bro. But you say you were sexually assaulted? Sorry, yeah. Sorry, bro. You gave it to me.
No, it's okay. It's okay. And please forgive some of my pauses sometimes, because I'm I'm trying to watch my tongue. And I also want to try to be as forthright and truthful as possible. Sometimes that takes a second, but
No, trust me. When I did episode 135, I struggled with that one because it was about something similar. So trust me, I bit my tongue from saying names and stuff, but I gave plenty of details of locations so people know who it is. Not playing.
Yeah, right. So we did grow up. We did grow up in a complex. God, I know if my siblings ever hear this, they're already going to know. But we lived in a complex, apartment complex right across the street from the beach. Beautiful place, man. And we made a lot of friends as a family. And as you know, I have siblings of variety ages, and so there's just all kinds of people that we would go and hang out with. Younger people might not understand this, but I really lived through the era of Walkman and the emergence of the CD player. So we're out here listening to the CD players and riding bicycles, and the kid down the street got the new Mongoose bike. And so there was a friend that we had came across, and as kids, we're out playing and found ourselves playing in this garage. And this is one reason why I forbid this from my children is we decided to play the game of family, right? Mommy and daddy. And, when I was a young lad, I used to have real long hair. Real long hair. Like, I could tuck it in my back pocket. And one day, for whatever reason, I was the aunt. Like, okay. Yeah, and so how it happened was, well, this is what uncles do with aunts. And, yeah, that was a day that it's funny, before we even got on this podcast, like, I was talking with one of my friends about how, like, it's really hard for me to let people get close to me. Right? Like, I could be real personable with you, and people could really share their stories with me, and I can feel that like crazy. And even right now, I was saying like mind my pauses because I'm trying to be straightforward. Cause I'm trying to let people be close to me. Like now as an adult, I really trusted this person. My siblings trusted this person, and yeah, it happened. And really, from that point to whenever they moved out of that complex, is such a blur about our relationship with them. I don't even know if my siblings even really realized what had happened. I remember trying to tell them back then about it. I haven't spoke about it really with them since. 'Cause I can't see their face, but their body and what that garage looked like. And I still remember, like, kind of over my shoulder, I could see the exit, I could see the street in the outside. And I just remember thinking, like, God, if you could just let me get out there. Like, I need to get from point A to point B ASAP. Yeah, and that was an experience. I had to have been at best 8 years old. And this person had to have been about 14, 15 years old. So, it definitely made me look at people in a certain light, and also myself, like keeping myself guarded and everybody at quite literally an arm's distance, because I can't let you get too close to me, bro. Can't let that happen again. So it's been a process. It's been a process with that. Yeah, that was, so even now, for like, fast forwarding, now I like forbid my children from playing that game.
Yeah.
You guys don't play doctor. You guys don't play husband and wife. There's no, Barbie dolls and the action figures. fucking have at it, right? But you, no.
Yeah.
Nope. Cause this, like, it kind of I felt not only betrayed by the person that we brought in, but I felt betrayed also a little bit by my siblings. Cause this was their friend.
Right.
And I'm your brother. You know, like, I'm your baby brother. I'm all y'all's only baby brother. Like,
yeah.
so I can't. It was hard. It's been hard.
Were you able to tell your parents what happened, or
Ooh.
no?
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, that's one of those half truths that I will probably end up dying with. Probably end up dying with. My mom, my dad, never. My mom, I've built a better relationship with my mom over the years. And she knows about a lot of the stuff that I ever got into, but that's just not one of them. I don't think she could handle it. And I know that's probably what now that I say that out loud, I know that's probably how she felt with us, with all the stuff she said or didn't say. But, I would prefer to spare my mother that.
Yeah, it's a trip because you know, I shared the experience I went through on episode 135, and I look back and it's like I still hung around with this guy. I still work for this guy. I still, you know, even after I had my own family and kids, I still, you know, he took my kids' first Holy Communion photos, but I knew not to leave them alone with him. You know what I mean? And but I mean, like I just like blocked it out, right, in a way. Luckily, I mean, in a way, I mean, I'm not trying to compare stories, but luckily, I'm still a virgin on my back door. Does that make sense? I didn't allow it to get that far. I did try to tell my mother, and she made it seem like it's normal. So I was like, wait a minute, no, that's not normal. But as I'm building a relationship again with my brothers, and some of them mentioned that something similar happened to them, that's when I was like fucking angry, pissed off. I blocked his number. I deleted his number. I called the DA's office and to see, hey, this guy, you know, he's a pervert. He's a fucking molester. He's a fucking, and the only thing that sucks about that is that my brother-in-law, he's LAPD, and he told me, he's like, look, bro, as a cop, I'm talking to you as a cop, because you guys are brothers and this happened 20 plus years ago. They're probably not going to take you guys serious. Because you guys are just like comparing stories. If it was like random people that weren't related to you, then it'll be a little easier. So, but no, the moment that I found out what he did, I developed fucking hatred for that guy. But it's sad because, again, I was talking to my brother, a different brother recently, and he was like, he goes, I mean, I worked for that guy, and I never learned anything. You, on the other hand, fucking, like, you can run your podcast because of all this shit that he taught you when it comes to cables and electronics and everything. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll give that sumbitch that. And I like to take photography, and I like taking action shots because of that guy. He taught me how to use a camera. So I was like, yeah, but I still fucking hate him. So it is what it is, man. But that sucks that it happened to you, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. Again, I'm only asking because it's on your bullet points. How and then pretty much after that happened, how long after that did your parents get divorced? It says you were in the second grade, so it was pretty much same grade, same year, no? 8 years old. Seventh grade. Yeah. So second grade is about 8 years old, right?
So okay, so situation with the assault. Yeah, it had to be between 6 and 7, because I do remember this individual ends up moving from that apartment complex, and then that's when we moved to Yucca and J Street, right off of Kern. Yeah, second grade comes around. God, that had to have been 2000, in between 2000 and 2001. Yeah, so second grade-ish. God, it gets so blurry with some of the stuff that was going on back then too. Cause like that was like 9/11 and all within the like year and some change, a big move. I mean, let alone all the other situations that were going down with the family. But I do remember that in second grade, my dad wasn't home for a while. Like there was this weird thing that me and my siblings would do, because in both of our houses, you know, you had the front door, and if you look to the left, all of our bedrooms always lined that hallway. And so, you know, you would see all of us start kind of coming out of the door and, you know, greeting my dad at the door. That was the one thing he asked of us. Like, when I come home, meet me at the door. I want to see all my babies. Like, good father quality, and I always commended him for that. And it was like, we were sitting down and we were having dinner without him. And it was like, well, where's Pop? Oh, well, he's busy. Well, where's Pop? Oh, he's at work. And then it was, oh, he's at Grandpa's. And, you know, Grandpa lived...
Pretty sus, Mom.
What, like...
Pretty sus, Mom.
Right, yeah, like, it's starting to kind of, how many days is he not going to come home? And from our house to my grandpa lived on Bryce Canyon. Right, Bryce Canyon, right off of Bryce Canyon and J Street.
Literally another block over, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
yep.
Right, I could run there.
Bubbling Springs? Bubbling Springs? Yep.
Yeah. And so, it was like, wait, he's at Grandpa's for what? And between point A and point B, that's when it was, oh, well, you know, babies, me and your father are going to we are filing for a divorce, and this is what this means. You know, I'm a little too busy trying to watch the next greatest episode of Dragon Ball Z, and, you know, I got WWF going on in my head, bro. I got all this other stuff going on, so I didn't
Hell
quite...
yeah. Attitude era, baby. Attitude era.
Yes. So I didn't really grasp, you know, and then next thing it was like, my dad was only coming on the weekends to see us. And it was like, oh, Dad, I got something in my room I want to show you. Oh, baby, I can't come inside. And then it kind of started to slowly dawn what was going on here. And then end of 2001, that's when we packed it up and moved to North Carolina. So the divorce, thankfully, in the beginning was not too ugly, right? Like, I've seen some, at least from my naive young eyes, was not too ugly. There was a moment that, you know, me and my brother, we have a very odd relationship. And really up until this point, my big brother was my big brother. You know, I wanted to be like Gav. I wanted to walk like him. I wanted to talk like him and dress like him. You know, be a football player like him, all this stuff. Dude, my dad came to the house and, for whatever reason, my mom was not trying to let us go out to see him. And so my dad comes up into the front yard, and I just remember here, get out of here, motherfucker, and then the loudest boom. And I walk out there, and my brother's socked the wall, and he's like damn near almost elbow deep in the wall of the house, and there's cops by this point. You know, I'm watching cartoons in the back, so whatever situation had been going down obviously had already spilt out. And that's when I kind of that's kind of when it hit me right there. Was like, ooh, this could be nasty. Like, this isn't peas and carrots.
I recall all those freaking holes in the walls. I made a lot of those too.
Gav. He was always a big, strong dude. And that's when I realized, I think that's when I truly realized, even as a small child, like the toxic parents and their own toxic relationship doesn't end just when the relationship ends, and if people truly, hopefully somebody who might be going through the situation who listens to this, it can be better for the kids if you choose it to be better for the kids. It can be better for you and them if you choose for it to be better. And my parents were not making that choice. They were like, kind of digging their heels in at this point. I realized at this point they were digging heels in. And it was starting to kind of get a little nasty.
And I'm sorry, I was writing something down. That was still when he punched the hole. Is that still in Oxnard, or are you guys up in?
Yeah, that was yes, that was in Oxnard. That was honestly, like, being inside of that house was one of the last memories I have being inside the house before we moved. Yeah.
Whew, that sucks, bro. And there's just, again, the loud punch, the loud bang was the hole in the wall, right?
Yeah, my brother went ahead and took and when I saw my dad, I was just glad that he hadn't taken a crack at my dad. Especially from my brother compared to my dad. My brother was probably a solid 8 inches taller than him. And, I mean, he was a middle linebacker at Wainini High School. So that would have been, and my dad was 5'2", so It was like, yeah. So it's short man syndrome a little bit.
Holy shit, bro. You can put your arm out and your dad won't even reach you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's take a quick little break, bro. I normally don't do this, but we're going to take a quick little break.
Okay, brother.
Hold on. To be continued. Korps will return in episode 165.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.